Ladies and gentlemen, the funniest guy around, Mr. Jeffrey Gurian, everybody.
Keep it going for Laura, everybody.
Woo, Jeffrey!
The whole dentist thing is just a rumor. You know when it started? The day I graduated from dental school. And it hasn't stopped since. It's crazy. Anyway, you guys are such a great audience. It makes me wish I could have been here tonight. Unfortunately, I'm out of town. Is that too weird? I don't know. I did that one night. I said to the audience, I really wish I could have been here tonight, but unfortunately I passed away this morning. And a guy in the front was trying to figure that out. I heard him say to his friend, what, is he a ghost? I'll tell you where I came up with that. I was reading the paper one day, and I was reading this article, and it said the police found a body floating in the East River. And I found myself thinking, gee, I hope it wasn't me. That's the truth. That's the truth. Stupid questions, right? I recently heard the stupidest question I've ever heard in my life. Absolutely the stupidest. I actually heard one guy say to another guy, hey, aren't you the guy that got killed last week in that accident? And just when I thought I heard the stupidest question I ever heard, the guy he asked said, no, I don't think so. Yeah, he had to think it over. He wasn't sure. So how great is it to be here in person and not on Zoom, right? Yay! Yes, how amazing is that? Yeah, a lot of comics tried doing comedy on Zoom. Let me tell you how horrible that was. You know, doing comedy on Zoom is like standing on a highway and yelling out jokes to passing cars. It's like, hey, have you heard this one? Zoom. Yeah, I think that's where they got the name Zoom from. Yeah. So anyway, I hope everyone out there is safe and well, and we put this pandemic thing hopefully behind us. I actually had the virus. I got it back in March of 2020 when it first came out. Well, as you can tell, I'm a trendsetter. I didn't want to wait. I went right out and got it. And when the ambulance took me to the hospital, for the first 2 days, they put me in isolation. But on the third day, they put me in a room with 3 other very sick men, all with the virus. And I was hoping they were kidding me when they told me that the man in the bed next to me was from Wuhan, China. I'm like, that can't even happen. But it happened to me. I'm laying next to patient 0. And this poor old guy was coughing and choking into the air with no mask on. And when I expressed my concern to the nurse, she told me not to worry, and she pointed to a thin curtain that was hanging between us. And I thought to myself, how foolish of me to have been concerned. Everyone knows if you want to protect yourself from a deadly virus, you hang a thin curtain around you. Yeah, too bad Dr. Fauci didn't know about that, the thin curtain approach. So needless to say, when they sent me home after 4 days, I didn't argue. I was so glad to get out of there. But what they don't tell you, there's a lot of post-op complications with this stuff. A lot of post-op complications. There's a lot of swelling. A lot of swelling. So I bought some compression socks. And the compression socks come in a small plastic bag. And the small plastic bag has writing on it. And what it says is, beware of suffocation. Keep this bag away from babies and children. This bag is not a toy. Now that's the line that really stuck out to me. This bag is not a toy. Because I thought to myself, are there really parents out there that need that clarification? That might mistake this bag for a toy? How sad would that be? I mean, how bad of a parent would you have to be to even consider giving your child a small plastic bag and trying to pass it off as a toy? See, let's see, Christmas is coming. We need to get Johnny a present. How about this small plastic bag? It even has writing on it. Yeah, I'd hate to see that child's face when he opens his present. Especially if he's old enough to read, and it clearly says this bag is not a toy. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Very, very confusing. So confusing. So, so many things confuse me. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of things confuse me. Like, don't you hate it when you wake up in the morning and you're really in the mood to vote and there's no election? What do you do in a case like that, right? How do you take away that urge to cast a ballot? And, that night we were supposed to turn your clocks ahead an hour at 2 a.m.? Yeah, what if you're supposed to meet somebody at 2 a.m.? What time do you show up? At 1:59, you're still a minute early. 1 minute later, you're an hour late. So many things confuse me. It's unbelievable. So many things confuse me. You know what confuses me? You never see an infant that looks familiar to you. You never hear anybody say, you see that infant over there? I could swear I know him from somewhere. Never hear that. So many things confuse me. I went into a store recently. I saw a sign that said occasional furniture. Occasional furniture. I'm like, what is it when it's not furniture? It's like most of the time it's a sweater, but occasionally it turns into a king-size bed. 3 days a week it's a pair of pants. The rest of the time it's a roll-top desk. It's a spider web and a room divider, which is basically what that joke was, except that neither side seemed to like it. But so many things confuse me. You know what confuses me? The headbutt. The headbutt totally confuses me. How come only the guy receiving the headbutt gets hurt, and not the guy using his head like a freaking hammer? It's like, what is there, some secret agreement in the headbutt community that only one guy gets hurt at a time? Giving some guy a headbutt makes no sense. It's like shooting yourself, hoping to get the guy behind you. No sense at all. And I'll tell you what else confuses me, the fact that people don't seem to care about certain parts of their body. And it's true, for some reason, people don't seem to care about their arms. That would explain the bulletproof vest. Because if I was a cop, I'd be like, don't you have something with sleeves? Bulletproof pants, maybe a hat? I don't know. I've never been shot, but I don't think there's any part of the body that takes a bullet particularly well. Could just be me, though. I don't know. So pants are important. I have no material on that. I just thought I'd let you know. No, I do have material on that. I want to talk about ripped jeans for a minute. Ripped jeans confuse me. What is the story with ripped jeans, right? Why are jeans the only article of clothing you could show up in such horrible condition and get away with it? There is no other article of clothing you can wear in such horrible shape, and it's considered perfectly acceptable. You can't show up in a torn shirt, a ripped dress, a suit with holes in the knees, but jeans could be ripped to shreds, and people love them. There was a time in this country, if you had a hole in your pants, you wouldn't leave the house, right? If you fell down in the street and you tore your pants, you'd probably say, you know what, I better go home and change. But now, if you tear them on purpose, it's time to hit the clubs. Makes no sense at all. And designers are laughing their asses off because the more ripped they are, the more expensive they are. I saw a girl last week just wearing pockets. That's all that was left. Just both legs were completely gone, just pockets. $1,000. $1,000. Poor people could never wear ripped jeans. They can't afford them. Soon it'll be like that old-time children's story, The Emperor's New Clothes. You'll be completely naked, and people will be like, hey, great jeans. Unbelievable. So looking out at this audience, I see a very diverse crowd, but a very diverse crowd from all over. And I don't care where you're from, we all share similar traits in common. We all share similar traits in common. As people, we tend to exaggerate. Now think about it. How many times have you gotten a call from a friend who tells you he was almost killed, but he wasn't even hurt? Right? Almost killed. He has the nerve to say he was almost killed, doesn't have a scratch on him. And they all have some weird story, and it all ends the same way. And one more inch, and I would have been killed. I'm like, what are you exaggerating for? If you're going to tell people you're almost killed, at least have the decency to be severely injured. Or else it diminishes the severity of the story, right? It's like saying, I almost had sex with this chick last night. Really? How far'd you get? Well, I called her and she wasn't home. But if she had been home, I would have totally nailed her, which is a very romantic expression, used mostly around Valentine's Day. I would have nailed her. And it had to be created by a guy. I'll tell you how I know it had to be created by a guy, because only a guy would be messed up enough to compare the act of having sex with a woman to hammering a nail into a piece of wood. You will never hear two women use that expression. You'll never hear one girl say to another, how was your date last night? Great. Did he nail you? You'll never hear that. And if you do hear that, change who you're hanging out with, because it's a bad crowd. Not like you guys. You've been a great crowd. Thank you so much. Jeffrey Gurian, thank you so much. Follow me on Instagram at Jeffrey Gurian.
Jeffrey, what is your...
And thank you to Laura Slutsky for doing this amazing event.
I love you, Jeffrey.
She's so wonderful.
What is your comment? What is your comedy?
ComedyMattersTV.com.
And what is that?
It's an online channel on YouTube. I have over 600 videos with all your favorite comedians from Jimmy Fallon on down. Everybody comes to talk to me.
Why don't they
if you
say
love
on
comedy.
up? Why do they say on down?
On down? Well, because Jimmy Fallon is at the top in my book, anyway.
Richard
so everybody, Richard Lewis was a very, very dear friend of mine.
Richard, make him laugh up there.
If you're on
Richard.
Instagram, yeah, a lot of people used to mistake me for him. I think it was the hair. But we were very close, and I just posted something on Instagram. We shot a thing in the men's room of the Friars Club.
Oh, yeah.
When I produced a gala for Susie Essman, in honor of Susie Essman, and I wanted to get quotes from people. And I called Richard, and he said, meet me at the Friars Club. I said, where do you think will be the best place? He goes, for Susie, we should meet in the men's room.
And they named the men's room after him. It was called the Richard Lewis John.
Yeah, the Richard Lewis John, right. And so we shot a video there. He was amazing. He was a wonderful person.
Make him laugh up there, Richard.
Absolutely.
Or down there, wherever you wanted to go. Jeffrey Gurian, everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. Hey guys, thanks for watching Comedy Matters TV. To check out some of our other videos, click on the boxes on either side of me. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Not just for me, but for my parents.